guys, it's Beth, and welcome to this week's Quick Fix. We are calling this Glorious Glutes because we're really going to be focusing on the hips and the glutes of our body, but this isn't going to be a quick fix with a bunch of squats, although we'll add a few in for you, but more about looking at how we're starting to incorporate more functional strength of our glutes and hips, because this is one of the weakest areas we have in our body and what leads to most of the pain and dysfunction that we experience. Crazy enough, it's true. We are just not, we may be doing like millions of squats every day, and that's great for these larger glute muscles, but there's a lot of little intricate muscles of our body, and a lot of us are super tight on the backside here, which limits a lot of the movement that we do every day, such as walking, and then things that we do like sitting a lot actually will inhibit some of that range of motion. So that's what this quick fix is all about. So things that you're gonna need. You're gonna need a yoga block or like a pretty sturdy book or something that you can both stand on and maybe put some weight on with your hands. You're gonna need a half foam roller, or you can use a rolled up towel, blanket, yoga mat. And then finally, you're gonna need a yoga strap or like a belt, a tie, you know, something kind of strap, fabric strap that's not stretchy, to use for the end of it. So let's get started. We're going to start with a little bit of a stretch first. So keep your half dome or your rolled towel nearby, but you're going to want to find a surface here. So I want you to get into your really good parallel stance. Remember, the way we do that is making sure that that outside edge of the foot is nice and straight, and our hips our feet are hip distance apart. So find that, come over to your chair, and I want you to get pretty close to it. You're going to put your hands down on the seat of the chair, okay? And what I want you to do, if you have a mirror, if you can feel, check your back to see, do you have that neutral spine, or are you curled under like this? Because when we get super tight in our hamstrings, and we reach the end of their flexibility, we may still be able to kind of come down, but then it's more in our back, and we really want to focus on our hamstrings and our glutes. So if you're finding yourself curling under already, then I want you to use your block to lift up that seat for yourself. So in that good position, our shoulders should be over elbows, should be over wrist, and I want you to let your pelvis fall forward, so you really, like, I can feel a really good stretch up the back of my legs right now. This is your double calf stretch. So just holding it there. Think about relaxing and letting that pelvis drop forward. Sometimes if you need to, you can think of a string being on the back of your tailbone, gently pulling it up towards the ceiling. But we're gonna hold that for about 30 seconds. While you keep holding this, if you're not feeling that stretch and you're like all the way down here, you can take your rolled towel, a yoga mat, and put your toes up on it. And then, that's the other thing, come into those hips. If you're not feeling it, come into the hips. And I'm too tight for that thing, so come into those hips. Come into the heels. And let that come up. Ooh, it's just a really nice release. It'd be a good one to do if you've been working at your desk all day. Do that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and continue using this chair. You can use a couch, you can use a kitchen chair. I want you right on the edge of it so you're nice and engaged. Untuck pelvis. We're going to start feet together, pushing through the heels and standing up for a chair squat. We're going to start with 5 this way, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now that we've done our 5 double, you can continue doing double, or you can take it up a notch. Kick a leg out, single leg. Bring it down. Whoa! 3 on each side. I got that one right in my quad. Okay, you can use your foot as a tripod if needed. If your hips are a little stronger, lift that foot up. Really push through. 3 on the other side. Ooh. And then one more. Woo. That was a good one. So 10 of those total. Then grab your block. Let's look at that wonderful pelvic list. We've done these before, so remember we stand up on our block. Good, nice, aligned edge of our foot. And we're going to use this part of our hips, pulling our foot up, flexing that foot, let it come down. Try not to let that toe tap. You should really feel it right here. We're going to do 5 on each side. That's 3, 4, and 5. Bring it to the other side. Coming up again, this time squeezing this side together. Bring it up. Try to touch that heel. Flat foot down if you can. If not, that's okay. 2 more of these. 1, 2. Okay, back to your chair. Either 5 more double leg or 3 on each side of the single leg. So whoop, use that chair if you need to. 1, 2, 3, woo! My balance is off today, guys. Switching legs. 1, 2, woo! Last one. Oh man. Hopefully you look a little more graceful than I do. Back to our list. 5 more on each side. Ready? Squeezing it up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch sides. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really pushing through that heel. All right. Move your block to the side. Grab that half dome. Go ahead and put your left foot in the center. Bring that right foot forward. Weight in the heel. Remember, relax neutral spine in our ribs. And a quick little calf stretch before we move down to the floor. About 30 seconds on each side. Feeling that in my butt. How about you guys? This is a good one. Let's switch side this time. Right foot up. Moving up that left foot. Single dome calf stretch. Again, guys, this really works. The flexibility, which is going to translate into the mobility, because we're going to check our hip extension here in a bit, and you'll see what I mean of this. All right, keep that block. You're going to use it as a head bolster. Bring it down. Grab your yoga block. And what we're going to do, first of all, our legs come up. The yoga block goes between our knees. We come up, so we have a nice 90-degree bend here. Flexing the feet, and I want you to twist them outward, squeezing this block and really feeling a nice squeeze right in those inner thighs. And these are the rotators of our hips that we don't use. So if you have pelvic floor issues, this is a really great one for that. Holding it, squeeze as hard as you can, push it out, and let's relax them for a minute. We're going to come back to that one. So leave your block. Make sure your head's bolstered so you have the back of your ribs are on the floor and you have a nice neutral spine. So go ahead, I'll switch legs. Let's bring our left leg out. I'm sorry, right leg out, our left leg is bent. Rotate that right leg out so that the back of your hamstring is flush with the floor. You don't want it pointing out this way. So just a little bit, and then keeping your hips in alignment. So palms on your hip bones, fingers on your pubic bone. I want you to lift not to let those hips move. We're just lifting up to the level of the knee, no higher. If you don't get that high, that's okay. We're just doing 5 of these. That's 3, 4, and 5. We're going to switch legs. If you're feeling any bulging of your stomach or bulging down below in your pelvic floor, I want you to pre-engage, meaning let's exhale, engage, and then do the movement. Otherwise, if you're on more of a healing journey, see if everything engages for you as you do this movement. Keeping those hips nice and still. 2 more. And 1 more of these. You may find one side is a little easier to do than the other, and that's totally normal. So we always do both sides. Get that block out again. Legs up. Block is right between the legs. Flexing the foot. Moving those out. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Woo! Nice. Keep squeezing. Up. Squeeze, squeeze. And relax it. Let's do another round. Okay. Rotate that leg out. Hips stay nice and stable. Lifting up. 5 more on each side. 2, 3, 4. 1 more. 5. Whew. Next one. After you do this, and we're not going to do it today, if you have a little extra time, you could pause this and add in a couple hip bridges. Be a nice compliment. Maybe we actually will make this a little longer and we'll do just 1 set of bridges in here before we flip over. 1 more. Oh man. Get that block between your legs again. This time, again, put your hands, palms on your hip bones, fingers on that pubic bone. And what I want you to do is I don't want you to move this too much. I want you to really drive with the glutes. So we're going to try to keep these level, pushing through our heels and bringing it up and coming down, really using more of the hamstrings and glutes for this motion than doing some of the more of the back. So really try to keep that pelvic in alignment. Let's do 2 more. Squeezing the block engages those inner hip muscles and also your pelvic floor. I lied, let's do 1 more. So 5 to 10 of these. Woo! Nice, guys. Okay. We're going to flip it over. Last 2 exercises. The very last one's a release. Keep your towel or your half foam roller. But what we're going to do for this first one is this is actually kind of even a little bit of a test of how much extension do you have of your leg without your back getting into it. So if we lie on our stomach and you were just to lift your leg up and see how far you can go, you'll notice that my hips come with it, okay, when I just do that. So we don't want that. We want to really limit to only hip extension and not our back. So what I want you to do is I want you to glue that pubic bone to the floor. Pubic bone is the one right here. And now, without moving those hips, lift. Don't let those hips lift up. 5 on each side. Feel what your body's trying to do. 2 more. 1 more. Okay, other side. 1. Glue it down. Mine just tried to lift up. 3. You should really feel that hamstring and glute firing to try to do this. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. All right. You can do more of those. This is a good one to do. Obviously on a hard surface, it's a little rough, so you'll want some type of blanket or mat or do it on the carpet. But if you're just hanging out with your kid playing, to just add some of these in. Grab your strap. I want you to, we're just gonna go ahead, most of you are gonna need this, so just go ahead and kind of get it ready around your foot. But if you notice, the other thing you're gonna want actually is your half dome. So go ahead, put your blanket or your half dome in a place where your pubic bone is free to move down towards the ground. But you'll notice if you reach around to try to grab your foot for a quad stretch, most of us really do, and we want the ankle and not up here, really do a lot of maneuvering in our upper body to get there. So this stretch is going to help us release that quad without doing all this crazy movement. This helps keep our pelvis down a little bit. So I want you to keep that pelvis level and then really use, if you from here can kind of reach around and grab more without twisting your body, do it. Otherwise you can just bring it right here, hold this strap, and you can hold it. This is a release. So you can sit here and hold this for like 5 minutes each side. I would say at least a minute. And just letting that quad release. We use our quads so much. Our quads are taking over the stability and a lot of the movement that our hamstrings and glutes should take. And it's so much that it's constantly on, and that's what's leading to a lot of our pain and dysfunction. And so our goal is to switch it. We want to release the quad, not that it doesn't ever have its purpose, but it doesn't need to be working as much as it does. So we're releasing the quad and then teaching the backside of the muscle, those backside muscles, the hamstrings, the glutes, the calves, to have better mobility and better strength, because they're a driving force for most of our athletic endeavors, but then just our daily movement. Okay, we won't do this quite as long, so switch out your foot. Again, make sure this is up at the calf or right above the ankle. Ooh, this one's really tight for me. And then holding it. So start really thinking about that. Working these into your day, sitting down doing this practice. You don't need anything fancy to do most of this stuff. Okay, you don't have to get into gym clothes if you don't want to. I do half of it in jeans. So just find some time to fit this stuff in, and you're gonna start feeling a lot better about how your body is moving and how it's being supported by the muscles. So if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you next week.